What if you're not actually doing as bad as you think? What if all the negative feelings and all the doubt you have and all the anxiety, what if all that actually comes from just your mind and not reality? What if the fact that social media exists and you're exposed to how other people are winning in life, what if all that is contributing to it and it's got you bought into some lie that you're actually behind, that you're not going anywhere, that it's not going to work for you? Or maybe you think at some point things are just going to switch and you're going to be certain all of a sudden and everything is going to make sense. It's going to all be revealed to you and say, this is right, this is the clear way, this is the direction you need to go. But that doesn't ever happen. None of us walk through this life with absolute certainty, 100% certainty. If that was the case, then God wouldn't have us have faith. He wouldn't ask for us to have faith. Faith wouldn't exist with absolute certainty. It's kind of hard not to compare when every time you look around, when every time you open your phone and open these apps, it's in your face telling you, you should have won yesterday. But the comparison is a thief from what you need to hold the line. That comparison is what leads us to discouragement. The discouragement is what leads us to thinking, what even is the point? I'm not seeing any fruit for my labor, so why should I keep going? This doesn't make any sense. And as we start asking those kind of questions, like what is the point? We're causing our brain to go into a cycle that tries to find the answer. And based on the evidence of what we've been seeing, we don't see any results. The only thing we're seeing is a lack of what we don't have and what we thought we should have had by now. But there's all kinds of things happening beneath the surface, and they don't always show up right out the gate. They don't always show up after you're doing it for a while, but that doesn't make it any less impactful. It's in our best interest to control what our eyes take in. Everything that we consume is affecting us in some way. So think about it. Based on what you do every single day, do the things that you do benefit you? Do they empower you? Or do they make you feel negatively? Do they cause you to spur into action, to feel inspired, to want to be productive? Or do they do the opposite? Who are we staying around? Perhaps it's time to create our environment, to get ourselves out of the situation where we're around people that don't help us, people that actually drag us down. Maybe we need to change what we see on a daily basis in our environment. Maybe it's not about people. Maybe it's about the things that we see when we come in. Is there a cabinet full of something that we don't need to do? Or do we come in and we have the same routine where it's the first thing we see is that remote and we sit down on the couch and turn on the same TV to watch? It pays in more ways than one to start paying attention, to start changing the environment so that everything works in our advantage and not to our subtle disadvantage. All the small things in our lives make up the big things. It's in the world's best interest to make you feel like you're losing. The more that you're sad and depressed, the more that you're discouraged and anxious, the easier it is to control you. The easier it is to control the way that you think, which then controls how you act. If they can get you to feel these negative feelings, you're less likely to do the things that are going to move your life forward. You're less likely going to want to pursue your purpose. You're too preoccupied by what other people are doing, how you're feeling, to instill any discipline. They want you feeling these sort of ways, and then they feed you distraction to escape these feelings, to numb yourself so that you don't have to face the source, the reason why you feel this way. All throughout my earlier years, when I was a teenager primarily, that's all I ever did was distract myself from who I was. I distracted myself from the feelings that plagued my mind, and I didn't want to do the work to fix it. I just wanted to be left alone. Last thing I wanted to do was ask for help. So all I did was numb myself with substances and then combine that with video games. If I was doing that, both of those things combined, then I don't have to think about how much I despise my life. And those are the moments where they poison us the most, when we're distracted. And especially if we combine that with something like substance use, then our mind is wide open to whatever it is that they want to feed us. What they feed us is a self-perpetuating loop of those negative feelings we talked about earlier? How can we continue this cycle for them to stay in? How can we make this more addicting? How can we use the way that we are biologically wired against us? How can we use all that against them? And then they create apps and marketing and all sorts of tools that draw us away from what's important so that we can focus on what they want us to focus on. All they've done is study how the mind works so that they can capture us and hold us so that we feel like this is all we have and this is all that we want to do. All it takes is one action to begin to break the cycle. You don't have to fix all of your problems in one moment. You don't even have to be disciplined all day. You just have to be disciplined in those moments where you want to quit, where you don't want to do it, where you're feeling bored, where things don't seem to be going your way. Those are the moments where you need to be disciplined. It only takes a few seconds. If you can start to win a few of those seconds once per day, your life will look drastically different versus if you continue to do the same thing you're doing now. I challenge you to take one action. It doesn't have to be something that consumes your whole day. Let it be one moment, and let that be one moment that you remember tomorrow when you wake up. Let that be that moment you say, yes, I was victorious in some way. Can I level up? Can I do something a little bit better than I did back then? How can I make today better? And then you take today and you do a little more.